Hello, Mr. Osers. This is Ben Nye and Henry Brun. That's Henry over there. And this is our Rube Goldberg project. This is in Minecraft, just in case you couldn't tell. So it'll start by flipping that switch. Right now it is on. Henry!
I put the thingy up.
Okay. And then once we flip the lever, it'll turn off the signal. And then it'll retract the piston, which holds dirt, and since the dirt has moved down, it will stop the flow of water. And after the dirt has been pulled down, the water will flow through this canal and knock out this torch. And then since the torch is gone, the sand will fall, and it'll let this water flow, which will let that torch be knocked over, and essentially the same process will be repeated up to here, and then
it falls onto
Yeah.
this dot down here and connects the circuit.
Yeah, and then the circuit goes to this dispenser, which will shoot an arrow at
Over
this,
here, don't sit on it because it'll go off.
It'll shoot an arrow at this painting, and then the painting will land on these pressure plates, which
We'll then flip this circuit on the bottom, which will flip this circuit, which is going up.
and it'll travel up here and set off this minecart. And the minecart will go down, setting off all these TNTs just for show. And it'll continue to ride down, and this is a powered rail, so it will be pushed along. And then it'll set off this detector switch.
TNT chain. It'll set off the TNT chain.
Yeah, well, it'll go off the detector switch, travel up this wire, and set off this TNT. And this TNT will set off that TNT, and that one will go boom, 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 boom. And all of this will explode until it hits that one, where it'll explode that piece of dirt. And the sand on top of it will fall right there and complete the circuit, and it'll send the signal all the way over
to here. And then this will launch sand.
Yeah, and the signal will set the TNT off and go up this path. And then it's being inverted, so the pistons hold up the sand. And then once the signal hitches that, the pistons will retract, and then it'll let the sand fall right when the TNT explodes. And then each of the three sand pieces will fall onto one of these pressure plates, and then we have all this connected to pistons, which will push sand up once they get the signal, and it will complete the circuit starting from that torch right there and traveling through these blocks and traveling to this piston, where it'll knock over this cactus.
The cactus.
And then the cactus will fall and flow down
down here. Right.
Until it hits these pressure plates. And these pressure plates will send a signal to these pistons, and these pistons will shove sand off the ledge, and there's torches over there powering, and when the sand falls, it'll complete the circuit, going all the way up to this inverter, which will invert it, which will retract the piston, pulling out the torch and letting the sand fall. And then once the sand falls, it'll let this water flow, and it'll continue down here until it hits that piston, or torch, and then it'll go all the way up here, or the sand will fall, and then that will flow.
And it goes down here.
Yeah, it'll just continue to flow, flow, and it'll continue to flow until it
Gets to here.
Yeah, it'll knock
And
down
then it
that
falls.
torch, and then the sand will fall, and it will land right here,
Where
and it'll
I'm
complete the circuit, being powered by that torch, and then the signal will go through that inverter, which will invert the signal to tell the pistons to retract, and then the ground will clear up, and then
And I
you
fall
will
to my death.
Yeah. That's how our machine works.
Way
Yeah.
to trap me in, Ben.